chairman of budget committee, I decided to also go back to school. I actually started pursuing 2 master's degrees together. One in KU, Master of Economics in Public Policy, and the other one in the University of Nairobi, that is Masters of Arts in Economics. And I've been pursuing those from 2023. Attending class physically, where I needed to attend physically, and those who offer online, also attending class online, and by the way, as a student, not as an MP. And I decided to do that because I also wanted to deepen my knowledge in the economic platform. And the more the reason, I made it my duty to listen in terms of attendance, and also to participate in any other participatory issues that I needed to do as a student. And gratefully, I am actually done with coursework. I am now doing the projects, both of them together, and by the grace of God, I may graduate this year. I am not talking about myself when I talk about going back to school. It is basically because the motivation of pursuing those 2 actually came out of quest to know better, so that the decision I continued to make are optimal, objective, and especially based on things that then would make our country move forward, especially given the pivotal position which I was serving in. And if you look at this table around here, these 2 shelves is actually classwork. All this you see around here, these are issues around classwork. And I was doing it again, and I'm repeating, because I thought and I still believe even now that it is important that even as we serve in our specific capacities, that we continue to also develop ourselves, to sharpen ourselves, so that we can be making more efficient decisions as leaders. So in a nutshell, I have been very I should be very grateful, and I have been very honored by the Kenyan people to have served in that capacity, and especially when our country really needed us to do what we needed to do. Just as snapshot of so that you understand where I'm coming from. This position is very involving, and I am sure many of you have covered us before. Sometimes sleeping in this office, leaving here very early in the morning. Not just myself, also the members of the members who are serving with. But it was also an experience also to learn and know Kenya. There are things we used to do called public participation, where we would choose. We started with 12, we ended up with 20 counties every year, where we would allocate some retro money, actually 100 million per county, and we would then go there to ask Kenyans what they would prefer that we prioritize. The last one, I was privileged to actually travel all the way to Madeira and interact with the people of Madeira, and I am glad that I have had many of such experiences to also relate what we do on the table and how that is far-reaching and how that affects the lives of the Kenyan people. For example, there when we went, the leaders were very categorical. There was a teachers, a TTC, Teachers Training College, and a KMTC, which they told us the entire 100 million to give to those two, because when we go all out to do those things, we specifically look at the impact of how those projects would work, and also by giving preference to what the leadership and the people themselves request us to, or were requesting us to do. Having said that, also for perspective's sake, And allow me to say it because it is how it is. At some point we got too busy, because you remember when you are here in the chairman of budget, you also have to go all out there and talk about the projects you are doing, but also but also on the other side, you are also doing work with CDF. You have colleagues whom you are interacting with as you work around CDF, and therefore at some point I also got too busy, as you could remember. Anyone launching a masomobora in their place, I would go, and those kind of things. And what I'm trying to say is that at some point I got too busy. And my brothers and sisters, I'm telling you these things not more as a politician, but also as a human being. I got too busy at some point that for the last 2.5 years, I actually went to my rural place, our rural home. I went there for the first time in the last 2.5 years in September or October or November of last year, thereabout, in the last quarter of last year. There is the time last year I visited my sister who lives not very far from Nairobi, actually in Thika. So I went there and we were chatting, and I could read her body language. She was thinking, kwani huyu jamaa amepotea ama ni nini? Because I could hardly have gotten time before to actually also do such a thing that looks very small but is also humane to do. So what I'm trying to say is that it has been intense, it has been busy, and I am grateful for that chance, because even in that intensity, it has also been a profound learning experience. I also want to take this opportunity to wish the current chairman of the Budget and Appropriations Committee and the leadership of that committee all the best. I have sat there, I know it is an intense position. It requires you to work very hard, sometimes to the neglect of your constituents, and therefore I would only wish the current chairman all the best as he steers the committee forward, because after all is said and done, whatever he is doing, the success you'll get is a success for all Kenyans. And therefore there are things we say because we are politicians, but there are also things we say because we are human beings. As a human being, I wish him all the best. And I want to say that I am grateful for the chance I have had. Maybe to clarify a few things which you may have in your mind, or possibly I can give you that chance to ask them. Maybe I'll wind up by saying that I'm also very grateful. Let me reserve that for you to ask, because I am here, I will ask. I will answer. Let me also take this chance to thank the people of Kiharu constituency, because to become the chairman of the Budget and Appropriations Committee, the prelude to that is for you to be an MP first. And I don't want to chest thump, but I'm just saying it in humility. I am among the few MPs who, in the last elections, I was elected without producing a single poster. I'm not saying that as bravado. Neither am I saying it to prove who I am. I'm saying it in humility, that I'm very, very grateful to the people of Kiharu for that honor, to have served them as a member of parliament. This is my second term, and especially given that there are many landed people in our constituency, but they have given me that honor and privilege to serve as the budget and to serve as their MP, or to serve as our MP as a constituency, and that has opened, or had opened, the room for me to serve as the chairman of the Budget and Appropriations Committee. I also want